What's up, everybody? Welcome back with another episode. Very relevant for all of you who are chuds. Not me. I'm not a chud. Um, I would never be a chud. But I just know this video is so relevant for you guys that I was like, hey, we could watch this video. It's by Rehab Room. It's called Sub 5 Copes. So it's like how to cope with being a single incel chud. Let's get into it.
Guys, this week I'm gonna make a pop tier list. A disclaimer is needed here. This list ain't gonna include stuff like Lux Maxin or Geo Maxin, because those are not cops.
It looked like I was dying, and they made him happy.
I'm gonna try to see this.
Game.
Going to please life alone, not aimed at helping you get a girlfriend. I'm gonna rank these cops in no particular order, by the way. The first cop I am gonna rank is something people bring up to me all the time. And they still do, to this very day. I don't even know if these people are serious or...
Just be gay? No, that's a horrible idea. That's F tier.
just mean. They say overreact. They will give a chance. They are gonna give a chance to,
Okay, damn, bro.
banana peel.
However, something we need to address. We need to address this. The fact that men are hurting so much, they're switching to,
Now,
That's a 4chan thing, by the way. Like 4chan actively was conducting a funny psyop to try to make men gay, which is, I think it's funny. But if you do that, you're part of a trap. You're part of a troll. So don't do that. Also, if you're ugly and women don't want you and you're an ugly guy, why would a gay guy think you're hot just because you're a guy? Like you're still ugly. Just saying. Also, you can't just become gay.
The point I'm at now is I just want some sort of affection. I just want sex, and I'll wherever I can get it, I'll take it pretty much. And men is the easiest way. It's just a rag. It's the easiest way.
right.
And the variant of this. Or yeah, if it beats, this is not something you can change.
Wait, he puts it as 4 out of 5. No, that's F tier. That's the stupidest idea ever. That should not even be entertained seriously. He's putting it at the D tier.
Consciously. And if you go ask
Being a man was too much work, so it became, oh my gosh,
those just
disgusting. Disgusting.
Or
Get
when
out of
you look
here.
at Threader, and I keep asking,
Rage bait.
don't want, there is hating my ass. That's not possible.
You know who's easier to get affection and love from than men are kids, because kids don't fight back. You can't really overpower a man, and if you're frail
Simply can't be here. How to kill a cat like this?
if you look like this, you probably can't overpower a woman because she'll run away from you, and then your frail trans body can't keep up. So why don't you just go after kids? Okay. Kids aren't damaged by the world. They have lots of love to give, and their legs are very small, so they can't run away. I'm just saying. So really, the gay pill just escalates to, well, even men don't want me, so I'm gonna go after kids. I'm just saying. Shout out to Chris Tyson from Mr. Beast.
I mean, I just to transition
Allegedly.
to go that way. All my
This is disgusting. Why do I have to watch this?
other woman. You ain't even gotta be a woman. Even men will get this attention. If you do.
I love it when women can't differentiate between different types of men. They can't. And it's projection, because deep down all women know that they're the same and that they're all just LARPing and putting on different costumes. Oh, I'm a goth. I'm a trad girl. They're all just LARPing with the same materialistic, selfish, cunty female mindset. And so they project that onto men, but it's like, no, actually there is meaningful differentiation of men. You can't just blanket term men and throw all men into that one blanket category. There's men with power, there's incels, there's middle of the road good decent men, there's simps, there's masculine men, there's a whole variety. There's soft and sensitive men, there's rapey men, there's criminal men, there's immigrant men, there's rich men, there's socially affluent, you know, Instagram influencer type men. So you just really can't put them all in one category, because they all have different codes, different priorities, different principles, different worldviews. And for men it matters because men will actually use force to enact their particular principles and worldview, so there's meaning there. Whereas a woman can't. She can say she's a trad Christian, she can say she's a right winger, but what's she gonna do? Vote in the polls? Like, it doesn't. A woman's promise doesn't really mean a whole lot. All it tells you is who she's willing to select, I suppose. But even then, that's not really true. That's also a lie, because they just all end up going for the same, you know, tall, handsome Chad anyway. So, autistic rant over. Anything else I should add? Not really. Just that women love to blanket label men as all one group, and I think it's projection, because deep down they know all women are the same, if in their heart of hearts, and they project that onto men. But men really aren't. There are good men and bad men. There aren't really good women or bad women. Not really. There's obedient women, and then there's non-obedient women. That's about as close as it gets to a virtuous woman, to a woman of... But there's no, like, I am a evil anti-hero woman, and I am going to be Thanos and kill... No, like, that's not a thing. Women don't have character like that. Men do. Men really do. Because there are men who watch tranny BBC porn and then hang themselves with a rope. And then there's men who build massive companies from scratch and take over the world. There really is that differentiation. There really is that character arc. Whereas for a woman, it's like, even the ones that have money, it's just like, oh, I married a guy. I just married a guy and then I divorced him. I just sit here and just men send me money on OnlyFans. It's not even that hard. And then the male manager of the OnlyFans model just does all the work. Point being that women don't have souls, men do, and women project their soullessness onto men by blanket labeling them, but you just really can't. That's like an immediate giveaway that the woman is like using woman brain, and she can't think straight, and she's going to make a big mistake, an overgeneralization that doesn't hold, because men are not a homogenous group. Women are.
It's just like the way they act towards each other, but it doesn't mean anything. But then they say, oh yeah, like, are you bisexual? And they're like, no.
Like,
Isn't that Destiny's wife?
people always talk, if they have to choose, we overestimate how easy it is.
Young men who have had sex with men. 1990, it's at 6. 2020, that's not very much. That's actually not, that's only double. That's only double. So, like, if that was 1%, that's now, oh no, that's 2%. That's not that much. For the explosion of LGBTQ in the past little while, that's actually not that much. You kind of can see where it exploded. But yeah, anyway. I don't care about graphs. Who cares about graphs?
On the opposite, man, will
AI, wait, what? Ice Age It is trending on women's roleplay AI. That's so funny.
act like they are resort.
Guy, you know, just you don't work.
I disagree with this patron.
That is Destiny's wife.
Overall, there is the bona fide 8 out of 10. Nobody is in the clear. Not even one. So overall, I'm going to put this in ineffective tier.
All right, I'm just gonna say you're all low tier normies. Like every single one of you.
Yes. College prof going in, dropping truth nukes. What do you want? Fucking phone is blowing up with nothing. Literally a bunch of nothing. Yeah, like, what do you want? I'm getting MMS from people I don't even... Go away. Just sent you... Let me just give me a minute. I will think about this later. All right.
Yeah, you're right there. You're a sub-3 for sure. I can scan your face right now. Face get improvement. That's the issue. You don't know your metrics, so you don't ascend. I've been using it a month. Sub-5.
The next one.
That's crazy. You don't know your metrics, so you don't ascend. That's crazy. It's also just not true. Like, do I know all of my metrics? No. But if you go to the gym, and he says there's no gym for your face, that's actually not true. That's one of the rehab things that's just not even true. If you start working out, you get more testosterone, and if you lean out your face by eating healthy, clearing up your skin, getting rid of estrogen, your face will masculinize. Your jawline will sharpen. Muscle on the cheeks of your face will sharpen. You won't have pudgy, acne-ridden. Your hair. If you're growing a beard, it'll grow better. Most men can't grow beards because they're too fat. That's why the neck beard Reddit guy is a thing. Is because he's fat and that's fucking up his hormones, and so he can't grow facial hair. That's a real thing, by the way. So that is the one rehab thing where I've basically it's just not true. Also styling your hair is massive. The reason you see these bald people is because they don't know how to style their hair. And everyone has at least some hair. So don't be like, oh, no, that doesn't mean anything. It's no, you have hair. There's a infinite amount of things you can do with the hair you have. At least some of them are going to make you look decent. Better than you are now. And yeah, some people are just male pattern baldness. They're just screwed. But even then, you're 50, you're some 40-year-old guy, then yeah, just go die already. I don't know. Talking about 20, 30-year-olds. This guy's straight up bald. But you can see it. He's got the man titties. He's fat. Just go to the gym. I don't know what to say. These stupid idiots who are I'm gonna looks max. You guys are all mid-tier normies, and none of them want to work out. Okay, you're just kind of a pussy. And I'm not saying that working out is gonna change your entire life. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying if I'm gonna respect what you have to say, you should at least be in physical shape and good condition. Then you can complain about your face or whatever. And don't take steroids. That's a horrible idea. Don't do that. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
In the list. This is in no particular order. Rank you can range up. I
remember...
love to have that career in that viral club that's been going around. The professor giving Lucas's classes. But there is realities of life. A job that you can template. I'm gonna put my feet. I know this is a debate now.
Lazy girl job. That's crazy. Women are just outing themselves as being useless. Thank you for admitting that you're useless, and men who actually do work are supplementing your salaries. Thank you. And this is the female... Here's why the female wage gap should actually be a whole lot more. I'm in favor of the female wage gap, and I think it should be widened. Is because actually, ma feminism and ma wage gap has forced companies to... Or maybe not forced, but maybe these companies are evilly complicit. But somewhere a stupid goyim is being forced into giving these useless HR women his salary that he earns. And it's a type of communist socialist redistribution from the workers to the office bourgeois, which is represented by these HR females sitting in nice offices doing jack shit with their gay spreadsheets all day, fucking around with emails and gossiping with other women. So like, yeah, this is women just telling on themselves. Again, thank you for proving the thing we already knew.
In our community, people say, guys, the job gives you.
I either want to be a multi-millionaire.
Depending
No,
on
not Tate, no.
My view to money always was, I either want to be a multi-millionaire or I don't want to work at all. I'd rather have my freedom and train and live off $20 a day so I can afford noodles. It's all or nothing for me. I either want to have it all or I didn't want to play the game.
I kind of, wait, this is actually based. Why? People will like, I need to take 4 years at university and then I'm going to make $80,000 a year. It's like, okay. Or you could just make $60,000 a year and not do that. Or you could just go to community college and make the same. Or you could just like not have a super nice car and then never have to go to school. I'm just saying. Plus you go in debt. People work, all I'm saying is people kill themselves inside, maybe literally, maybe, for a meager increase in your slave salary. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, maybe just like working minimum wage and then just ascetic maxing and like not having a bunch of stuff you spend, you know, a bunch of money on, like maybe reduce your phone plan, don't buy these things, pirate them, like just like minimalize max, then you would actually be happier. Meanwhile, people will go to medical school for 12 years just to make like $100,000. You're like, okay, well, maybe 200, but people put in so much work just to make a slightly larger salary where they can like buy a nicer car. You're like, okay. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I kind of agree with Tate here. And I usually don't like him, but
Now, I see Tate's side as well. And it can kind of work. You can make it work if you are in one of those welfare Western European states. You know, just get enough money from the government. And the option, yeah, not playing the game at all is better. Is the better alternative.
You're working at fucking Quickie Mart, $5 an hour, 70 hours a week.
70 hours a week.
Dude, what type of life is that?
What type of
What is the point of being a wage retail at age 40? It's up of your life. It is fun when you are 19. It is not when you are 29. Not all of us are good lifers with enabler parents. Yeah, maybe we can. Way time. Theoretically, they accept either get the job slave in a minimum wage job now. I couldn't even make these videos. Probably would have been that.
I don't understand. I'm skipping through it too much, I suppose. But what's the solution? Just work a job? These memes seem like pointless.
It is not when you are 29. Not all of us are good lifers with enabler parents. Yeah, maybe you can afford it. You can afford to meet with enabler parents. Not every soft life can. Having a job that you get along with enables you to cope in comfort. It could be a trade, it could be anything, you know, a business you own. But that lifting weights, lifting, training while you are surviving on instant noodles is gonna get tiring. You're also gonna lose motivation, bro. People don't talk about this enough. Like, yes, in theory, when you are a need, there's a billion things you can
Lose motivation. I mean, what motivation is there? If you're living off motivation, then that's a problem in of itself.
But do you actually? Because a lot of needs sadly don't stick to their side projects. They have maybe a billion ideas in their heads on how to make money, how to, excel at stuff. They always talk about those ideas, but do they put them into action? It is so easy to lose motivation. When you don't see the results, when you don't see the return fast enough, it is so easy to lose motivation. A job kind of gets you up, can shoot you identity.
Okay, so job. So he's saying job. Job. Okay, I actually disagree. I think a job is gonna make you hate your life more as a sub 5. because you're just going to be surrounded by a bunch of people who make more money than you, people who are more successful than you. Like, the job workplace is like part of the matrix, and it's part of the demoralization. And you're also like, I'm participating and contributing to society, basically enabling the tax base to take advantage of me, and for people who actually like their life to have a functional economy because I'm working there. Well, I get nothing. So actually, I'm against this 9-to-5ism as a way to cope. Because the 9-to-5 is what they want from you. They don't care about your love life. So you're giving them everything they want, which is the labor and the slave labor, and you're getting none of what you want, which is the love or the affection or the sex. So it's kind of like, don't do that. Like when I see the 37% of men are not in the workforce, it's scary. There's a rising NEET population. I'm like, good, get fucked. Fuck your stupid economy. That's good because it means less people in it, which makes it better for the people who are in it. So overall, all around, it's good. Now, it's bad because those people have to survive, and that means they're probably taking welfare or something. But hey, better some young men taking advantage of the welfare than another fucking family of immigrants. That's all I'll say. Take advantage of the system while it's still stupid enough to be handing out free money. So no, this is a bad idea. You're playing into the system. It's there. It's going to demoralize you. It's going to just make you more depressed if you work a regular 9-to-5. I would not do that. I think it would be way better to try and just detach from the workplace as much as possible. If you can work 20 hours a week and survive, do that, and then think about something else.
I couldn't even be worse. Proper nutrition. This is a very useful call because it is going to help you fight depression. It is going to help you take care of you. It is going to get tough. Health issues, modes of, and a career path. So,
yeah, that's actually not even. Yeah, I agree. Good. I think work. You should substitute career and job with work. Because if you can make the work make you money, that would be ideal. I think working for yourself or working for a small team is much better than working at a large corporation. If you can work for yourself, much better. Yeah, that's what I'll say. There's just something about making your own money that feels so much better than being a tool for somebody else. And then the food is true. That is true. Eat good food. I think that's probably a major contributor to my well-being, probably, is just I get lots of sleep. I am not that stressed about my sleep. I'm not on my phone before bed. I don't, stay up scrolling for 3 hours on my phone because I have my little flip phone. And then, what else? And then I'm eating good. So I think that's a major contributor to my well-being, and I would recommend all of you guys do that as well. That's what I would say.
Survival guidelines. Both options matter if you are in no health background. I'm actually rank this as situation because
passport bro-ism. Here's why I'm not in favor of passport bro-ism. A, it's too much effort for a woman. B, you're basically just scraping the bottom of the global barrel for Filipinos and Taiwanese people. It's like, okay, if you wanted to date someone ugly, just go date an ugly white girl. The advantage is they're maybe more traditional, they're maybe more whatever. But I wouldn't rely on that. I wouldn't be like, oh, she's my actual trad wife. I would just kind of get over that fantasy of trying to find someone who's of good character. I think it's just continuing the LARP and the fantasy, but just rescuing it by placing your hopes in some geographical location, as if all the unicorns are on over here. It's like, no, you need to stop. Unicorns aren't real, bro. Stop doing that. It's also just very expensive. There's no guaranteed returns. They might scam you. There's a whole host of new problems that you have now. You might get scammed. You have to learn a language. You're race mixing. Now you're doing all these other things. How are you gonna marry if they live in different countries? Like, how are you gonna? Also, how are your in-laws gonna speak to each other if they don't speak the language? Like, what are you gonna do? Different faith, different values, different mindset. Like, it's just it's generally not a good idea. It's just like race mixing. It's just like advocating race mixing, which is just not a good idea, by and large. And I don't even think it's gonna be like. I don't think your odds are gonna be that much better, and the expenses are massive. It's also just kind of pathetic. You're gonna travel to a whole new country just so you can like take advantage of like third world women. Like, really, bro? Like, I don't know. I think it's just kind of pathetic. Like just give up, bro. If you can't date here, then just give up. Like, I don't know. I don't like it.
There is nothing much out there if you are sub-5 and not rich. Traveling is overrated, guys. If I personally, not against a lot of
Destination, guys, have good teeth.
You also can't be 2 months ago. Club. They have because Ella
What's your name, age, and where are you from? My name is Sumner.
told me as a wallet. Bro, of course they just Soviet. There would also pretty proud. You gotta think they some turned out.
Stupid fucking brand t-shirt with the watch. Fucking kill yourself. Imagine wearing some stupid brand t-shirt. I would never do that. Even if it was my own company, I would never wear someone's fucking stupid brand, some stupid logo on my shirt. Goodness.
Give you a lot of insights. It can be fun. It can teach you about life.
So
you can't be naive. Another hot topic because of Clavicular, him going viral, encouraging them those kind of drugs for looks medicine, for appetite suppression. Guys, it is probably one of the worst ways to looks max or deal with loneliness. Either way, for either purpose. Because it is a lot easier for lonely men to get hooked on them and ruin their lives than some high-tier normie with a good family, with a good subpolitics, religions, history, taking an interest in them. If you genuinely believe purpose, because individualism only leads to you getting mocked. As an individual, you ain't shit, and you deep down know this. So what do? Oh, I belong to this group. I am a believer of this religion. You make political tribes and religion your identity. Collectivism protects you from that mock. Is why the third word, sharper identity, honestly. Whether to put this in the ineffective or do that, mix, honestly. Whether to put this in the ineffective or situational on here. Politics coping is a lot more common, guys.
Okay, politics coping. Wasted time.
And it is
That should be at the F tier. Politics F tier. Injecting yourself with some kind of something to like numb your sex drive and try to kill it with drugs. Also F tier. These are like stupid ideas.
It's gonna keep sense of accomplishment, improves your self. This kind of language gives you a sense of your skills as a hobby, not trying to turn them into your job. It is gonna keep you busy, get your mind off things, lets you track your progress, gives you a sense of accomplishment, improves your self-esteem. So I'm gonna put this in the, keeps the rope away tier. By the way, this can be anything, man.
What, a hobby? Like painting? I think, okay, unpopular opinion, hobby maxing is cringe. I need a sound effect. I need like a little sound thingy. Sound effects are cringe. Why? Sorry, hobbies are cringe. Why? Why are hobbies cringe? Because how do I explain why hobbies are cringe? I don't know, I just think they're cringe. I think they're for women. Like, if you're like, hobbies, I need a hobby, it just sounds gay. why. I'm still in the middle of my morning coffee where I'm not fully lucid yet. Why are hobbies gay? Because they're frivolous. They are isolated, meaningless, frivolous pursuits. Unless you can frame your hobby as part of a larger project, then it makes sense. You need some justification or some meaning behind the hobby, just other than I'm doing a hobby because I am trying to cope as a sub-5 human being. I think you should have, if you are to have a hobby, it should be because you have a rich internal world, because you want to become an excellent human being, and you want to become literate and trained in the classics, and musically you just want to be a high-tier human being. I don't know, you want to get good at coding because you have a project to build an AI that's going to take over the world. Like something, oh, so I'm doing coding, but it's not just a hobby, it's part of your evil master plan. I think for something as a man, for you to do a hobby as a man, you can't just do a hobby. That's like what women do. I'm just gonna start painting. I'm painting. Just gay. But you need to like. It needs to be smart. It needs to be like strategic. I think for it to make sense. You need to have some purpose. There needs to be purpose. A woman does things without purpose. She's just like, I'm painting for my mental health because I saw something on Instagram about mental health and hobbies. Stupid woman brain. You need to be like, I want to do this skill because this skill will help me in this project. There you go. That's smart. I want to get good at reading because I want to be a better debater. There you go. I want to have a better worldview. There you go. I want to answer some of these underlying philosophical questions, and I'm hoping that more books and more literacy will help me with that. You need to have like a person that is you, and you need to like think about, you need to character build. And when you think of a hobby, it's not just like a hobby so that I'm mentally healthy for no reason. Just a random hobby that you like. Oh, well, I like this hobby. I don't like that one. You need to be like intentional. You need to be constructive, intentional, purposeful, strategic. And ultimately it should provide value to someone. I think it's actually a bit selfish to like, I'm just going to paint and then not show anybody any of my paintings because I'm bad at painting and no, you got to like, if you do have a hobby, it should contribute to the greater public good in some kind of way. I think that's necessary. It needs to be like right now I'm modding Dragon Quest 9. I am actively going in, dissecting the ROM, labeling everything, figuring out how to reverse engineer the files, insert my own custom text, sprites, animations, entries, removing entries, adding entries. So I'm doing this, and it has a greater purpose because lots of people love the Dragon Quest series, and I'm contributing to the world by, I don't know. Okay, what's my opinion on video games? Let's do this right now. What is my opinion on video games? I think video games can be a waste of time because a lot of people play them for like 10 hours and then they ruin their life and they're highly dopaminergic and they can be really addictive. That being said, I do think they are a valid form of art, of storytelling, of engagement. They're actually a fairly good pastime because they're engaging your brain. They involve multiple parts. It's involving the mechanical part of your brain, the pattern recognition, intellectual part of your brain, the storytelling part of your brain, the creative part of your brain, the artistic part of your brain, the linguistic, if there's characters with dialogue, part of your brain, the logical part of your brain, if you're solving puzzles or building a redstone computer in Minecraft. there's also a social dynamic to these games too. You can get multiple people, so you're also socializing. And I don't necessarily think it's an inferior version of anything else. People will say, yeah, but online is like just inferior, juvenile version of the real thing. That's true for a lot of things. However, there's kind of like nothing like video games in real life, so you can't really compare it to some other thing. It's really its own unique medium, and therefore I think it has a valid artistic storytelling engagement role in our society, the same way that you would hang a Mona Lisa on the wall, or the same way that you would... Nobody's looking at Leonardo da Vinci and his paintings and being like, oh, what a loser painting shit on the wall. You know, get a real job. Go engage with a real flower and real vase of flowers. Stop just painting them. Paintings aren't real, you know. It's just an inferior version of the real thing. Like, only a retard would say that, right? So why is it that with video games we apply a different standard? And I think the reason, in all fairness, is because a lot of people do it just for the dopamine and for the titties, the anime titties, and for the 12 hours, you know. And I think competitive games are kind of like maybe guilty at this, like PvP competitive games, which I am guilty of. They do tend to be more like that. I think they're more guilty of the type of player who abuses video games for like 12 hours on end. And it's not good. I'll agree, that's not good. So like certain games tend to just be like time wasting, dopaminergic, kind of meaningless, mindless stuff, and they don't have any of those other elements. But then other games are, and in my opinion, as we're moving into the 21st century with digitization, they are the new medium of art. And I think there's a part of like inevitability. Like, we live in the 21st century. People are not really thinking about impressionist Mona Lisa art anymore, or like, you know, stuff like that. So what's the new medium of the day, of the century? Well, I think video games is a valid contender. I think there have been a lot of really good, beautiful pieces of art that, you know, can be memorialized, appreciated. And the way you appreciate a game is by playing it, by engaging with it. It's almost why I think it's superior to like television, because television, you could make the same argument. You could be like, well, yeah, television, which there's a valid argument. You know, some movies are cultural art pieces. Some of it is just anime titties binge watching, right? So the same logic applies. There's good movies that should be watched, and definitely are cultural masterpieces. And their time was really like 1960 to like 2010. That was like movies. That's when movies were like the biggest thing ever. Now it's kind of like, the movie industry kind of sucks. Hollywood sucks. Stupid Marvel movies suck. Now it's kind of video games, and those are starting to suck. But it's still got some life. We've got a bunch of stupid remakes, but there's a growing indie community. Steam still popping off. For now, video games are still a rather dominant thing. Eventually, it's going to be like augmented reality. That's going to be the new, or like VR. That's going to be once that actually gets good and usable, and it's not like a stupid prototype, that will become the new medium, I think. Virtual environments, right? So, but for now, it's still video games, and I think just like we can all distinguish with movies that there's actual art pieces and then there's slop. Anime is just slop. I'm sorry. Nope, all of it. I'm sorry. Nope, no mercy. It's all slop. I won't say it's not all slop, but a lot of it is slop. 90%. It's just so much slop. It's like, don't look for the gem in the pile of poop. Just go find a gem that is not covered in poop. That's what I would say. So we can all distinguish between art, movies, and its slop variants. Video games, I think, maybe has a fairly high percentage of slop, but there are valid games out there. Some games just aren't meant to be played that much. That's the other part too, is like some games are so shallow and so slop that, okay, the actual art is the story and you're not meant to like play for thousands of hours on this game. Some are not that, like Minecraft is not that. Minecraft is a game where you can basically play for hundreds of hours and do new stuff every time. And you can spend hundreds of hours building an SMP or building a complex build or learning how to mod or learning how to make creative builds and do redstone. Like there's so much content and shit to explore that the true extent of the art takes hundreds of hours due to its sandbox nature. But a lot of games are not really meant to be played for like hundreds or thousands of hours. They're meant to, like, the same way you don't need to like look at a painting in the Louvre for like 30 minutes. You just need to look at it for like 5 minutes and then you're like, okay, I get it. You don't need to like stare at it forever. So maybe it's an example of the dopamine inherent to the game making people play the game longer than the actual art demands. That's an argument. So it's actually people abusing. So it's kind of this internal conflict between the dopamine, just keep playing it again and again and again and keep going and going for 10 hours, 12 hours, 100 hours, versus the actual artistic merit, which gets overshadowed by people's dopamine addiction. It's a thought. I mean, you might disagree, you might rebut. That's fair. But I'm modding Dragon Quest IX because I think it's a masterful game. I love the game. I grew up with it. It was a really good game. Had it on the DS. Nobody's been able to really mod it. I've looked for Dragon Quest IX mods. There's kind of nothing. There's really nothing. There's a decompilation project. I've actually contributed a lot to that decompilation project. Maybe I can show you what I've worked on, where I'm at right now. Let's make a screen display. Maybe we can capture the... Oh. Notepad, there we go. So this is where I am right now. It's quite large. Make it fit. Boom. Now, it's not that hard. I don't even have that much coding experience, but even with my meager coding experience and a bit of persistency, this is what I've been able to... AI is actually fairly helpful. This is one of like the good uses of AI is brainstorming file structure and what they mean, testing, constructing code really quickly, so I don't have to like manually type it all. Which some people might say that's like cheating, or I don't really care. So this is like where we are right now. You can see some of the stuff that I've been mostly focusing on this, trying to clear out all of the question marks and replace them with stuff that's solved. Speaking of which, this is still unsolved, so we'll do that. But this is like my hobby, and this is what I would do because I want to dissect the ROM, and I want to reconstruct some kind of mod engine, some mod loader, some kind of program that will go in, and instead of me going into a hex editor and like changing a value manually, I want to make a program that can do it automatically, and you can customize the prompt. So you can be like, do you want to insert an item? Do you want to get rid of an item? Do you want to change an item? And then you can like do that. Would that be cool? I think that would be cool. And then people could make mods for the game. Wouldn't that be cool? And then we could start seeing a whole new revamp of Dragon Quest IX, we could have a revitalized interest in the game, and then I could be like, hey, that's me. I did that. I started that. Wouldn't that be cool? I do like the community passion around games and certain projects. I do like that. I think that's really cool. I like it when a bunch of people all come together to like solve a problem in the game, or like try to mod the game, or try to come together and like create a game. There's what's the 4D Miner game? That is what it's called. It's literally just called 4D Miner. Yeah, that's a cool game. That's another mod, like, team game. It's kind of cool. It's a bit quirky, and it's not really, like, there to be as playable as possible. It's more as, like, a cool idea that a bunch of people tried out and, like, thought it'd be funny to make, which I support. So, yes, I'm deeply conflicted because on one level, video games can take a lot of your time, and they can be a massive time waste. I know that firsthand. But there's also a like really valid community and art part of video games. There's a valid medium at play. No one looks at an art community and says, "Oh, that's a waste of time. That's meaningless socialization." Like, at a certain point, are we just going to throw all impressions, all fiction, all art, all, music is all bad because it's not real, quote unquote? It's all impressions? No. They're God. I mean, on one level, there's an element of godliness. God gave us the ability to create music and sing hymns and construct beautiful art, icons of God. These are all God-given faculties that we ought to use and ought to master and perform. There is a divine duty to these things. The goal is just to find out with every medium and with every piece how much of that is slop and a waste of your time and just anime titties, and then how much of that is actual meaning. And then if you're able to swallow or look past the slop, if the percentage of slop is low enough or manageable enough that you can look past that to extract the good parts, then maybe it's worth engaging with. Because everything is going to have a degree of slop. Nothing is going to be totally slop-free. Everything is going to be, we live in a fallen world. Everything's going to be imbued with a degree of slop. But it's also going to have a degree of the divine in it. And we need to carefully sift through which ones are worth salvaging and which ones aren't. Video games, I think, is a interesting middle ground. I think there's a lot of slop, definitely, but there's also valid, really wholesome communities, projects, enthusiasm, appreciation. That's why, like, video game critics should be part of, like, the valid community, but they've really just become, like, an IGN corporate cutout. They do have a valid function. They're supposed to be the scribes of the community, but they're not. So it's a real shame, right? I think anime is just too much slop, and I think it's really dangerous. I think because of maybe its Japanese nature, actually. Not the literal animation is the problem, but the Japanese nature of it tends to imbue a particular message and a particular belief, which is really damaging. One is that you need to be chosen. You notice any, isekai or shonen jump, or I don't know what it's called, but the little male hero, all of them, it's the case that he's chosen, or he has some special ability that no one else has. He has a foxtail demon inside of him. He's part ghoul, part not ghoul. And this is very dangerous because it teaches you that unless you have some kind of extraordinary gift or chosenness, which is Jewish, by the way, very Jewish, that you cannot succeed in society. You cannot achieve your dreams and have this tale of adventure. It also over glamorizes the ascension. It makes it very emotionally enthralling and detailed and rich, emotionally rich. There's the grit, the struggle is glamorized. It's working out, like whenever a character does a workout, it's always glamorized, and then they skip through all the boring, mundane parts with a montage. And that's really dangerous because the montage where you see the guy training is the majority of what you're going to be doing. So you can't skip that because that's the bulk of what you actually have to do is the boring. It actually pisses me off so much. It teaches people that don't worry about the actual training part. Just do the part where you're staring in the mirror and you're looking at yourself, and or the before and the after. Well, there's the whole middle part. And that's the actual bulk of what you need to do. That's the actual transformation. That's the meaningful work. That's the magical essence where you transform. Not the before, not the after. Nothing happens there. There's no dynamism in the before and the after. Or the staring in the mirror and the weak hero at the beginning. Those things are but they skip over that with a stupid montage, or they just jump. Like, oh look, Naruto's 20 now. It's like, fuck you. And what it teaches people to do is it teaches them that the struggle is mundane and boring and it doesn't deserve screen time. And the only things that do matter and deserve screen time are the emotional, social character moments. And that is very demoralizing for a normal person because real life is boring and it's mundane and it demands consistency and repetitiveness. And the moments where you get to be the main character are very short and sparse. They're sparse within your life. Far between. And so it trains a particular mind. It also teaches you that if the struggle that you're going through is not glamorous, or it's not gritty and dramatic and emotionally charged, and there's not suspense, that it's not worthwhile. Because you're going to look at your life and you're going to be like, my life is nothing like this anime character who has this grand arc and he has this dramatic tension and there's this dramatization and emotional chargedness, and he's crying and he's getting literally his back broken and blood is flying everywhere, but he gets up anyway. It's like, your life is not going to be anything like that, and so it sets your expectation to not be good. It's also frying your dopamine at the same time while it's taking you through this emotional roller coaster of a character arc for this guy. And then it makes your life as a McDonald's employee look depressing and boring. And it's demoralizing you and it's despairing you. You're going to go, I'm nothing like those anime characters. My life is boring. My life is sterile and stupid. And I don't know how to get the anime life that I like, that I see. And it puts you in a box where you don't know what to do. And you're just like, well, I'm just going to go to my shift and then I'm going to go back to the anime. And so it just teaches you to become a voyeur and just basically learn helplessness your way into just watching more and more anime. And that's why there's 18 million episodes. And that's why it's really dangerous. And it's inherently a Japanese thing. Because the Japanese life is unglamorous. It's drony. It's mostly work. It's depressing. It's suicidal. It's lame. It's repetitive. It's monotonous. That's a very Japanese mindset. And so you can feel the depression of an entire race and the demoralization of being a stupid chink in your gay office job with no glory, who's just a slave, and the internalization of that gets reflected in the anime. And it's like Really dangerous because it teaches you that unless you're chosen, unless there's some kind of glamorous struggle, unless you have some friend group who's like everyone there is sexy and they're all super like they're unique personalities and they all got like some personality disorder and they're super vibrant, then unless it's that, then you are nothing. You are not the main character. You are a slave. And that's really dangerous. Teaches you to hate your own life because it's not like an anime. And then when your worldview is an anime, you're like, well, how do I become the anime guy? You don't know because the anime guy is nothing like you. He's gifted. He's got all these friends around him. He's got this big tragic backstory that drives him to do XYZ. He has plot armor. You don't. Another big thing, anime guys have plot armor to drive the story. That's really dangerous to teach people. Oh, if you just go up against the biggest, baddest guy, you're going to win because plot armor. Nope, that's a huge mistake. That's delusional. That's very dangerous. Don't do that. That's how you get killed. That's how you ruin your life. So anime brain, if it's internalized as a worldview, and it will if you watch it enough, it demoralizes you, teaches you that you don't know, you can't go anywhere meaningful or do anything unless it's through the arc of a chosen anime guy. It also just lies to you and teaches you. It just lies to you. It says that hard work and perseverance are the tools of success. It's telling a success story via hard work and persistence. That's just not true. If that was true, then, as the famous ism goes, the donkey would own the farm. But you're not. You're the donkey. And it's actually very dangerous because it's a reinforcement mechanism to keep slaves working harder and keep them invested in the system. So it's almost like a Japanese slave reinforcement mechanism. The narrative in anime, if we think about it as representing to and being reinforced to its viewers, it's emerging from, but it's also reinforcing the people within that culture, a kind of cultural adhesive. It's telling the slaves to keep going, just keep working hard, and maybe one day you'll be like Naruto. You'll have your own, you'll be the Hokage or whatever. You'll overcome whatever. And that's really dangerous because, no, just working harder is not going to yield you success. I'm sorry. And that's why you look at these Asian countries, they all stress themselves out to the max. They're all studying for 14 hours a day and they get no sleep and they go to the job and then they work way too much. And it's like, no, like training an extra 1,000 hours more than everyone else is not actually going to help you. That's just making it harder for everyone else because you're setting the standard, the bar of the work that needs to be done way higher. You're just inflating expectations of the system, of employers, of whatever your particular women, your medium is. And that's why in places like Japan, they all work, in Korea, they all work like X amount of hours. They have insane work schedules. And so this is like propaganda. So anime becomes like propaganda for them to just keep working harder, just keep doing it, just keep going, and then you'll be fine. And it's delusional and it's like useful if you're like a slave owner class of elites trying to convince your slaves to just keep going and just have hope, and then it'll turn out for you. You'll get your waifu, girlfriend, everything will be fine. And then when that doesn't happen, people get demoralized, they kill themselves. That's why there's a suicide problem in these East Asian countries. Yeah, it's just really bad. It's really bad. It's not good. It's extremely toxic and harmful, and it portrays it all in this glamorous, redemptive mindset. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not going to be you. You're going to be a slave. You're going to work your whole life, and then you're going to die. Unless you have a different message, Like, if you were to become the superhero, it's not going to be by working harder and against all odds he does it. No, it's just it's so dangerous. That's a really bad idea. That's how you be a slave forever, and hate your life, and then you just watch anime over and over again. It's really bad. But anyway, so don't watch anime. Anime's horrible. That's my take on anime. And I think really ultimately it's just a reflection of Japanese culture. It's Japanese ethos in a medium. It's also why all the characters are emotionally volatile. Like, you have these tsundere, yandere, like, I'm not into you type women. These are like super emotionally volatile women, is because they don't have fully developed emotional regulation, because they don't have enough nutrition, because they live in Japan. So they're underdeveloped. They all have small tits because, and they look like children. That's why you have like a whole like fixation with children in anime, because they are physically children in anime, or in Japan, because they don't have enough nutrition and they aren't fully developed like we are in the West. So this leads to a massive pedophile problem in Japan, which is a real thing. Go look that up. And it seeps into their anime and into their culture. This kind of obsession with children, this kind of glamorization of children. All the men have baby face, all the women have baby face, and that's kind of like they baby everything. They say words twice to sound cute. Everything's cute. Everything's kawaii. That's a culture that is pedophilic. Just straight up. They haven't grown up, and it's due to nutrition. It's due to starvation. That's why they're all short. That's why they're all short and have small dicks. Just saying. So then it leaks into the anime, because you see all these like short little, she's cute, she's widow, she's a widow tsundere, she's angry and she's short and widow, ha ha ha, so cute. Like, I fucking hate it. And that's why that's there. It's because it's a reflection of the Japanese physiology, biology, culture, values, emotional disposition. That's why they all fly off the handle emotionally all the time, is because they don't have emotional regulation, because they are children. Just saying. It all makes sense once you see it. And then you see these stupid like chakra, like, oh, my chakra, my internal this, and that's just like East Asian stupid mysticism just going in there. So really I just see it as a vehicle for East Asian values and culture, which I don't really like. I don't think it's good. I don't really like those values. And they're not good for Westerners, that's for sure. It's not good for a Western mind. A Northerner. We should not really be instilling values of like Japanese stuff. It should not be. So I don't like it. I don't think it's good. I think it's a type of soft power, almost. It's a type of cultural invasion into our values, and so we have this younger generation which is being incepted with all these stupid Japanese values, and they're just bad. They're just not good. And we have all these men who want to date Japanese and East Asian women, and they don't realize that there's lots of documented evidence saying that biracial children from Asian families have tons of mental health issues. So if you date your Japanese kawaii waifu, your kids are going to have mental problems. And you did that because you had a fetish for some stupid Japanese person. And that's your fault. So you just gave your kids mental health problems because of that. Because you couldn't, I don't know. Half of it's because it's the feminization of men in the West, so they're becoming more like East Asians. As you become more masculine and more like, I don't know, raw meat, drink my milk and eat my beef. Yeah, I'm American. Yeah, cowboy. As you become more like masculine, you realize like you become like your palate. I don't know how to say it, but like East Asians become less palatable. It's more like a soft, soylent, low testosterone thing. like all the guys who are obsessed with Asians, they all have low T. I'm just saying. If you're, I like a little Asian waifu, I want to get mothered by and henpecked by some stupid Asian woman. That's the other thing. Fucking Asian women, constant henpecking, constant neurotic. Not neurotic, like, yeah, it is neurotic, I guess. Like henpecking and obsessive mothering, and this condescending like coldness and this generally annoying and performative performative juvenileness, childishness, performative childishness, I guess is the word. Yeah, it's just not good. So that's my extended take on anime. That's why I don't like anime. I don't watch it. I've watched a few in the past, but more and more I'm becoming like, I don't like this. This is not good. I think there's like decent music and decent art, but it's really dangerous. And the whole waifu phenomenon is really bad too. Like, it's just not good, bro. Like, the women in anime are just made to be like obsession fodder. It's just not good. Like, these like perfect women, their hair is colored and they're like, the hair is blowing in the wind, and like they're super nice, and the big titties, and and they're super nice, and the voice actor is like perfect, and they're like super charismatic and expressive. That's the other thing, like over expressiveness. People in real life are not that expressive. That's recalibrating your brain and the facial recognition part of your brain to be over expressive, and that's not good, because people in real life are not like that, and so you're not going to. That's why these people are autistic. I'm telling you, it goes hand in hand. That's why there's autists who watch anime, is because the anime characters are hyper expressive, and that is not good because real people are not like that, and so you're not going to be able to read social signals as well because you're calibrated for these hyper expressive people. You're not going to be able to read the minute changes that Westerners exhibit when you go out into the real world. So you're going to feel socially isolated because you're fucking up the part of your brain that recognizes faces. Just saying. So wait a minute. What? I wonder if Japanese people are like that because they literally do look all the same. That'd be funny. The reason Japanese people are hyper expressive is because they literally do look all the same. That would be funny. Because I'm just gonna say it. White people don't look all the same. You're saying, oh, you're just saying that because you're white. No, I bet they all think we look all the same. No. Objectively, we don't. How many different hair colors are there for Japanese people? They're all black hair. All of them are black hair. How many different hair colors are there for white people? Well, there's blonde, there's redheads, there's brunettes. You can occasionally have some like Greek woman who has like black hair that isn't dyed. There's that level of phenotypical diversity within white people already just by hair color. Then you can have blue eyes, you can have brown eyes, you can have green eyes, you can have hazel, you can have auburn, you can have all these silver, you can have mixed green and blue, teal. Like, you can have all these different color eyes for white people. What are the eye colors for Asians? Oh, black, brown, black. Different shades of black and brown, right? So I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out that if you're a highly insular, highly homogeneous, which Asia in general is quite homogeneous compared to other cultures. If you are a highly homogeneous, highly insular, and highly genetically similar, low variability race and culture, then you're going to rely on overexpressiveness to communicate and differentiate, to stand out. I'm just saying, it makes logical sense. You're like, why would all these Japanese characters be hyper expressive? Could it be that in East Asia, you need to be hyper expressive to not look like Becky, so people don't confuse you with Becky, who looks the exact same with black hair and a bob cut, and who's also 5'1" and talks the exact same annoying way. I'm just saying, right? Like, and there's a billion other Asians. That's the other part we don't talk about too. There's like a billion of them, so that you have more that you need, and they're highly dense, highly populated, a lot of kids. There's millions and millions and millions, very high population density in Japanese cities compared to American cities. And could that lead to them needing to stick out more? And so they do that. And so that is portrayed in the anime. I'm just saying. I don't know. It's a thought. I'm not fully convinced on that. I could be wrong, but it's a thought. The coffee's really flowing through my veins at this point. We've completely went off topic, but this is a kind of dumb video, Rehab. I don't know. It was kind of lame. I don't know. I wasn't very intrigued by his video. It's kind of lame. So, but is there a relation? I'm going to skip the video game thread. We'll just leave that. You know my take. But there's a thread between anime and the point Rehab and the Black Pill is trying to make, which I think when you watch excessive amounts of anime, you are stepping into a certain frame, which makes you think I need to achieve everything and become the hero through hard work and persistence and my amazing expressive character. And the problem with that is that's not how real life works. And you should just you should step out of that frame and recalibrate yourself to the rest of the real world. The Black Pill is much the same, in the sense that step out of the frame of I'm getting cucked, my girlfriend is on, get off Tinder, get off X, get off 4chan. These are all subjecting you to a particular worldview and a particular frame, which you have to step out of. And then once you step out of it, you can actually cope with life. So is it kind of true? Yeah, it is true. But the reality of the truth becomes easier to deal with, and it becomes less devastating when you're not addicted to dopamine and the particular frame that the sites that you're engaging with present and force upon you. If you're constantly watching porn and some guy who's 6'4" bang all these chicks, yeah, you're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel like, oh, I don't have any. You're just gonna feel upset and gay. So the solution is don't watch these things. There's tons of different perspectives and different frames and fields to engage with in life. Why would you engage in the ones that set you up to be a loser? For example, let's say I am paraplegic. I'm in a wheelchair. Do I want to watch a bunch of content about how people are like playing basketball and like doing dunks and running? Do I want to watch a bunch of like cyclist and track events? Do I want to watch people run a 400-meter sprint? No, because I have no legs. That's gonna just make me feel like shit. If we saw anyone else doing that, we should be like, okay, stop watching track. Find something else to do. There's plenty of other things you can do with your life. You don't need to obsess about the fact that you're not going to be a track athlete. Now, it's slightly different with the Black Pill because women is it's a pretty high priority for a lot of men. But the logic is there, and it's the same, which is like, stop watching the misery porn and the doom and gloom disparity. If there's a game you can't win, just focus on a different game. Life has many different games you can play. Don't keep, thinking and obsessing about a game you're destined to lose in. Realize that it's intentionally there to demoralize you and to make you KYS because they hate white people. And find something else to do where you can win. Find a game you can win. It's like play to your strengths, right? Like, don't go try to be a blacksmith if you're skinny and scrawny. Go become like a cave diver or something. I don't know. Like, go find a game you're going to win at. It's like, it just seems like common sense, right? So anyway, that's my thread. That's what I'm drawing. We've been going at it for an hour now. I could keep going, but I want to make another pot of coffee. I got to do more work. Let me know what you guys think. If you like the video, please comment. Please, I need engagement. I'm all alone. No one wants to talk to me. All right, goodbye.